Hi, friends. Welcome back to Live at the Roxy. Um, so okay. It's funny. I oftentimes don't have a hard time talking about myself on this show because I'm Roxy. This is Live at the Roxy. These are the kind of shows I usually end up having a hard time with, but I think they're probably the most important shows and whatever. So not to be like dramatic or anything, but for those of you guys who know me and have known me for years, and I think I started AfterBuzz back in 2010. So some of you guys have been with me for 13 years now. I I I don't know the right word, battle, suffer, fight, whatever, extreme depression. Um, and I have had, I don't know whether you have depression always inside you and then it rears its head, or I don't know if it's like alcoholism where you're always once an alcoholic always an alcoholic, but then you can get sober, or whether depression comes and goes and whatever it is. But um uh I have just been super fucking not well recently, and i'm really I'm really suffering. um And so I haven't been here as often because I've been trying to do the bare minimum. Like, I have certain obligations to certain companies and certain things, whatever it is that I have been doing. And also, it's good to get up and get out and do whatever it is. But I thought that I would do a show on some things that I found this week, as it's been really bad recently. And if I can help anybody who suffers with this at all, then I hope that I do. So I think that where I'll probably start is just like what's been going on, and then I'll talk about some of the things that I've learned. And if you guys have questions, as always, just let me know. Streamlabs.com/Roxy Stryer, super chat in. Okay, so about a month ago, a little longer than a month ago, um, I realized that I was like kind of slipping into a depressive state. There's usually some signs that come with it with me, and if you're me, like I've battled depression from almost my whole life, and I know that sounds so fucking like, um, it sounds so like dramatic. I don't know the other words to use, but people are, when I hear people, I know that sometimes when people hear people say I'm battling depression, and it's like, so you're really sad, and it's like, no, it's not. I've been sad in my life before. It's not sad. It's like a an inability to convince myself that things will ever be okay, or that like anything is okay. So anyway, um, since I was probably like 13, this is something that I've been familiar with. And sometimes, I would have entire years of being extremely depressed, and sometimes I'll have um, episodes or whatever you want to call it that are like a day or two, and sometimes they're a week, and sometimes they're a month. But about a month ago, I was like, um, I feel that this is not going to be good. And I started getting, a lot of my depression comes with being extremely down, extremely paranoid. And I was started doing some things that I was like, fuck. So checking the locks, and I have reasons to, but checking the locks on all my windows, all my doors like 15 times before I go to bed, waking up like 80 times throughout the night to go around the house with a knife and a taser. Um, like laying in bed and like literally not being able to figure out how to get out of it. And uh like convincing myself, like talking myself through all of the things. You guys know in the past I used to be a very heavy drinker. Now I drink casually. I've tried to take every drug that there is. I try not to do that now, prescriptions and otherwise, whatever. So you go through all the options you have in your head and like how you're going to feel and whatever. So anyway, I started feeling about a month ago, and I was like, I don't have time or room for this right now. I have to keep on pushing. I have great announcements that are coming about my movie being sold and about being cast in this other movie. And I've just got so many good things, just push through, um, all of that. And so and my therapist that I love back in Boston, I haven't been seeing for years now because she is so wildly expensive and the Zoom thing is just not as conducive when you're paying that much money. So, I was kind of like, okay, a month ago, I was like, I should probably start seeing somebody again. But I was just like, I don't have the money, I don't have the time, and I don't have the energy for this right now. I'm just going to grin and bear it. And then for the last month, I kind of just like kept putting these little band aids on where surgery was very clearly needed. That's what my analogy for like when you're not well and you're not willing to like start at the root of it. So you just keep doing these little quick fixes. Quick fix might be, I was working out more than usual to try to get endorphins. And that's not even a quick fix because that does have long term positive effects. But like going out all the time, like rushing away from things and whatever it is. And then about like 1 week ago, 5 days ago, it became abundantly clear that I was just not okay. And my brain feels really fucked up and foggy, and it feels like something's wrong. And you start like questioning your existence and stuff. And um, I just was like, I can't see light at the end of the tunnel, and I need help because I've been here before and I know that there is light. I just know that I can't see it right now. So, um, one of my girlfriends has been staying with me for the last few days, and she is amazing. And that has been like a great security blanket for me to know that like I'm not alone in my place or in my mind and stuff. And so, um, I didn't, one of my other telltales is that, or whatever the fuck word is that when I start experiencing extreme depression, I stop eating. I can't stomach anything. And so I didn't eat for 4 days. And it's not like I'm not eating because I like am in strike. It's like I literally can't keep anything down. Anything that goes down, like my body rejects. So I had a really hard week this last week where I was laying in bed for so many hours but not sleeping. I hadn't eaten anything for 4 days. And finally, yesterday, um, I started eating again, which was my body was like, okay, you're fucking starving. And it started like accepting food again, which was really positive. Um, and so I feel a little clearer yesterday and today. And last night I got at least a couple of hours of sleep. And so I'm feeling like, okay, like, and then I'm supposed to see my girlfriends this weekend and try to do a couple of different things. So, uh, yeah, and I'm just like working on picking myself up. So I've decided that the most important thing, obviously, is that um, I need to stop putting a band-aid on and I need to get some new tools. I've determined that while being in therapy for years previously gave me so many tools to get through a great portion of my life, I am now lacking the tools I need to be here. And so I need some new tools. And it's hard to admit that because I know for you guys probably too. And for me, oftentimes I feel like I know so many things and I'm like, I've made so much progress and I'm somebody who does take such good care of myself. Like I've been really working on the sleeping thing. I eat very healthy. I work out almost every day. I fucking meditate, even though I hate it and I don't understand it. People say it's fucking healthy for me. I get sunshine as often as I can. I really try to do all the things to like live a healthy lifestyle. So I feel like I've been implementing tools. I journal. Um, I've been trying to spend less time on social media, all of that. And so anyway, I need new tools and I can't come up with them by myself. So I was like, okay, I have to start talking to somebody who has some resources for me. And so, as I'm sure many of you guys who battle with depression also, or anxiety, or PTSD, or even extreme sadness, or whatever it is that you're going through, when you're in a hole, it's very difficult to find a therapist because you're already so fucking down. And um, you're already so fucking down. And then you need to, like start looking, and it's expensive and time consuming. And so I wanted to share a little bit with you guys on some resources that I have found. And I now officially have found somebody that I'm going to be meeting with next week. And I'm really grateful for that. But okay, so here are the few things that hopefully are helpful to anybody. Number one, just figuring out that it's okay if you don't have the tools. You got to go find them. You can't just sit there and decide you don't have the tools and then just sit. You got to, even if it's by yourself, like you got to figure out how to do it. Number two, if you have to cut back in other areas of your life in order to finance it, then that's what you have to fucking do. Because like, if you're not here, you're not here. And then what's the fucking point? What's the point? So it's also not helpful that it's fucking pouring here for the next several days. Anyway, that's a side note. So, okay, how do you find somebody? For those of you guys, talk to me in the chat, or any of you guys struggling with trying to find a person right now. I probably called 100 different people. So the different resources that I found are, first, I started on Psychology Today. So I have insurance. Insurance supposedly covers talk therapy for me, and I actually, let me step back for a second, because a lot of people have been asking me this in my life, and I know a lot of you guys. One of the questions that I continue to get is, what happened? What happened? What happened? What went wrong? And the truth is, usually with depression for me, and I don't know if this is for you guys, oftentimes nothing happened. Usually there's like a trigger of something small, where like something will go wrong, and usually you would be able to just handle that, and it's not even that fucking big of a deal. But that will usually trigger me into like, I don't like want to be here. And it will hit you out of nowhere, and then everything feels like that. So to like, I've been talking to my grandmother, who I love, Grammy, who obviously I love so much, but that generation is different too. And, she was like, 4 days ago, you were elated. You seemed elated. Can't you just get back to that? Or like, what happened? And there was a trigger this time for sure, but it's not a big deal. So it's not even really worth discussing. I got in an argument with somebody that was over something really small and stupid. And then everything just started fucking spiraling. So again, if you're at home and you're like me and you struggle with this, sometimes you might think like, I feel crazy because nothing's actually wrong, or maybe a million things are wrong. And also, as you guys know, some of, but not all of, I am somebody who has experienced extreme trauma in my life. And sometimes like a little trigger can trigger something that is way bigger, that maybe I've not fully dealt with, or that I have fully dealt with, but have not dealt with in a manner that is current. Like maybe I dealt with the way that it affected me at that age, but not at this age, or haven't checked in on in a while. And sometimes things just have a rear their ugly head and stuff. So I've had a few different incidents that have happened in my life, some of which you guys don't know about, some of which I'm sure you filled in the blanks about, and some of which you do know about, like, my mom dying and stuff. And stuff. So anyway, okay, so that's to answer that part. And then on finding somebody, so I started on Psychology Today, which is a website, and they break up psychologists by your insurance. And I just started calling people that dealt with, I checked off boxes like, okay, I need them to take my insurance. I want them to be experienced in trauma, depression. Um, and also I think like, you don't, it's hard to not, but like try not to self-diagnose yourself. I talk about having depression because after years of therapy, um, I have been diagnosed with depression. Um, and I, in terms of self-diagnosis, I currently believe I am dealing with PTSD, which I know is a whole different fucking box, but um, try not to just like put labels on yourself that you don't even know are there. I'm trying to do that too. But anyway, so I know that one of the things I deal with is depression. So I was looking for somebody well versed in trauma and depression who took my insurance. And then finally, I got this after all of those calls. I got this because then you'll see your therapist more often, right? Like my copay is $45 a session with my insurance. So I'm like, okay, that is manageable as opposed to the full coverage of a session is $250. If it's like it's $250 an hour, if you see somebody once a week, that's $1,000 a month. I can't take that on right now, but I can try to figure out $45. So I was calling all these people, and then finally I got one person to call me back, and then she emailed me and she asked if she could meet with me, and then I said yes, and then during that time that she said she would call, she didn't. And then I had like a bigger spiral, like because I was hanging on her every word, and then I just didn't hear from her for a whole day after she said she would call me at 1, and then I didn't hear from her till the next morning, and she apologized, but I was like, I'd already started looking at other options. So then what I did was I was like, okay, Roxy, you know some people who know some things. I want to reach out to people, and I just have to deal with the fact that I'm not comfortable talking about my depression to people. I am talking about it here on the show with you guys. I've tried to be open with it in the past. I'm not comfortable talking about it with a lot of people, but I need help. And this is nothing that I'm going to be able to solve on my own. So I'm going to have to talk about it with people. So I called two different people. I said something to two different people. The first one was a friend of mine, Jenna, who is a licensed therapist. And I was like, I'm really struggling to find somebody. And she was like, unfortunately, with your specific insurance, Blue Shield, I don't know if you know this, but therapists have stopped taking it mostly because your insurance company doesn't pay them well. They pay them pennies. And so it's not fair to you guys, but most insurances that you're going to find, most companies are not going to take your insurance. So you want to try to find somebody who will do a sliding scale for you. And she sent me several names who I'm still looking into. And then I called, I knew I was not going to go to a screening of Cocaine Bear because I was feeling beaten and down, and I'd been working and just had a nightmare of a day and week. And then I was like, you know what? I feel comfortable. I hope that Christian Harloff's going to the screening because I don't want to talk to anybody else, but let me just text him and see if he's going. I said, are you going? He said, yeah. And I said, hey, would you mind saving me a seat? I don't really want to talk to anybody. I'm not doing well mentally, and I'd like to sit with you. And he was like, yeah, of course. So we got there. I kind of told him about what was going on. And he was like, I have some contacts. Let me try to find somebody for you. And he did reach out with a bunch of different options. And, just to tell you guys about some, not just because they're podcast sponsored, but like there are a lot of different digital options right now that hopefully get people through the time periods that are really tough. And so one of those things is BetterHelp, which does a lot of good for a lot of people. And I have friends who've used it. Another is Carbon Health now has a mental health department as well, depending on the state that you're in. So I started looking into both of those things. And I finally was able to, and then you put on, and then the other thing is that I went through this other thing, telehealth, and I was put on a 3-month waiting list. And I ended up, I think that I know that next week I'm talking to somebody from BetterHelp. And so far they've sent me this like really lovely message, and we set up a meeting, and the prices are reasonable enough in general for that if anybody else is trying to look. and there's options for video or phone, and you can message throughout the week and stuff. And I'm looking forward to having somebody more consistent. There's also a lot of podcasts that like will give you discounts on things and promo codes. So look out for those if you're looking for things that are less expensive. And then I saw that there's even options on a lot of these apps and stuff for group therapy sessions as well. And a lot of the places that like telehealth that put me on a 3-month wait list, they have group therapy options that are quicker too. So if you're looking for something, I suggest looking at Psychology Today, trying to call people that are in your insurance, especially if you don't have Blue Cross. You might find somebody easier. B, looking through some of these apps and online sites, Carbon Health, BetterHelp, telehealth, and really like just trying to, and if you know anybody who is in the mental health field, they might be able to help refer you to somebody, get you quicker on a list. And then also, if you are looking for somebody and you have means, a lot of these wait lists can be bypassed if you don't go through insurance and you just pay out of pocket, which is fucked up, but is the truth. So maybe that will help some of you guys who don't fucking know where to start, because sometimes I just don't know where to start, and it feels so shitty when you're just like, I need help today. And people are like, well, just hang tight. Help is on the way in 3-ish months. And a lot of people don't have 3-ish months to wait. So anyway, that's where I'm at right now. Sorry, I have not been looking. Streamlabs.com/Roxy Stryer. Ask me questions if you guys have thoughts or comments or whatever. Again, I talk about these things because I like to be as honest with you guys as I possibly can during the times that I can. And I also always want to help you guys on journeys that I know everybody has their own journey. And I know a lot of you guys are struggling. I want to talk to you guys about something else in a second as well. But in the Streamlabs, Christian Hardesty, thank you for the big support. He said, hey, Rockstar, you're not doing too well. I hope things get better for you. Thank you. You know, this is what I've realized. I can't just hope they get better. You have to like fight for it and work for it. And I'm doing that. So I know that they will. Jimmy in the Streamlabs, thank you for the support, Jimmy. He says, Roxy, cut yourself some slack, sis. You wouldn't call it dramatic if someone said I've suffered from diabetes for my entire life. There's no difference. We can't control the chemicals our body does or doesn't produce. I love you, sis, but I also know my words are just words and don't really help. Please let me know if there's anything I can do that will actually help. I appreciate you. Words do help. You know, it's nice to feel like people support you and don't judge you and are in your corner and whatnot. That's always fucking really nice. So one of the things I've been thinking about is that I feel like I have a lot of resources that people don't have because I have connections to people who are in the entertainment industry and this show. And like, as little of a, you know, person as I am, some might call me a Q-list celebrity. I do have special access. And so one of the things I've been thinking about, so I kind of want to start a new show on this channel, maybe once a week, maybe every other week, maybe a 10-episode series or something. Thinking about calling it something like, I don't want to feel like this anymore, which is what I've been waking up every day saying, and seeing if I can get some people to come on and talk to us and give us real tangible tips. You know, like, I don't want to feel like this anymore. Anxiety. I don't want to feel like this anymore. Depression. I don't want to feel like this anymore. Overwhelmed. I don't want to feel like this anymore. Exhausted. I don't, like, whatever it is, and see if I can get some people to come on and talk to us about just like real tips that you can do, especially when you're having a hard time finding one-on-one therapy that you can do immediately. Let me know if that's something you guys would be interested in, because I know right now is a fucking crazy time for so many people. Huge support from Trackstars. Thank you so much for that. Streamlabs.com/Roxy Stryer. Trackstars, you are amazing. Says just supporting. I really, really appreciate you. You're awesome. Thank you for that. And so I was thinking about doing that, if that's something that you guys would like to see happen or whatnot. Andrew says it's a good idea. Ryan says that would be great. reminds me of something, some of the Live at the Roxy episodes you did during the pandemic. Yeah. Mike says I'm interested in that. Cool. So I'm going to try to look into some things that I can do. I think it'll be really helpful for me and hopefully for you guys. And then maybe you can ask some questions. Yeah, because also, like, not everybody's depressed right now, but like most people I know are struggling right now. I mean, it's fucked up out there. And for the people who are happy right now, that doesn't mean anything's wrong with you. I'm so happy for you. And you've got the mental fortitude and ability and whatever's going on in your life. I'm fucking stoked about that. But it is just like crazy hard out there right now. And watching what's going on in the world doesn't make it better. Yeah. Yeah. The other thing that I've been thinking about too and talking about to myself is like when I'm hitting moments that are low, I'm like, like, okay, so I wasn't able to find a therapist. I'm laying in bed and I'm 6 in the morning and then I watch it be 7 in the morning and it's 8 in the morning and I can't get up and I'm sitting there and I'm like, okay, Roxy. So they're not responding to you. The therapists aren't responding right now. You do have some tools. You might not have all the tools, but you do have some tools. What do you know? What you've been here before? What do you know? What do you know for fact? What do you know helps? What do you know has gotten you out of this before? And like two of the things that obviously like I have to come back to is I know at some point food helps. You have to eat or you're not getting nutrients and things feel so much worse. You have to drink water. You have to shower. You have to be in a clean environment. So cleaning, and then things that like you need to get done, feeling like you've checked them off your list. So like going through my tax write-offs, it fucking sucks. It doesn't feel good, but I know that like it's a medial task that I can try to do right now. Like what are my other tools? You guys know I like to throw myself into my work. So like the last 2 days I almost called out of work. I had to work on Wednesday with the World Girls, and on Thursday I went and filmed with Real Rejects again, and I fucking have been loving. I've been hopefully doing more stuff with them. I'm loving Real Rejects. Like I just feel I'm obsessed with Greg. I think he's fucking amazing. John is fucking awesome. I want to be there way more often. So I was like, okay, Rox, the last thing you want to do is cancel on that. You like being there. Like just get there. Just get there and do the job. You like what you do. So try to do it. Working on movie stuff, like even if I don't feel inspired right now and I feel down, I have some tools. The tools are knowing myself. What do I like? I like to work. You guys know that. So that's been like remembering who I am. And that just because I'm depressed during this time doesn't mean I am not me inside. And then remembering what it is that I can do during this time. And at least putting on those Band-Aids until I can be talking to somebody. So maybe that's helpful for some people too who are struggling right now. Huge thank you and huge support coming in from the Streamlabs from Bobby Jackson. Thank you so much, Bobby. Huge thank you to you. But he says I don't need to read this out loud. So I will. I never know when you guys say you don't need to read this out loud, whether you don't want me to read it out loud or you're saying I shouldn't read it out loud. So I'll read it in my own time afterwards. But thank you. Jimmy Nails in the Streamlab says, if I shipped you some gelato, would you be able to get yourself to the P.O. box before the dry ice failed? I think it depends on when it gets there, Jimmy. I would do my very best, but I don't know. I haven't had anything sugary in a minute, but I appreciate the sentiment too. I'm sure the girls would love it. Sean in the Streamlabs, streamlabs.com/Roxy Striar said, sending you lots of love. Thank you, Sean. Appreciate that. Jimmy, maybe hold off till the summertime sadness fades or whatever, until I can get myself. And, like I have plans for this weekend and I'm like, okay, Rox, let's get up and let's do it. But sometimes if I don't, then I don't. I'm trying to give myself a lot of grace right now. Like I'm going to try and do things. I'm going to try to go to dinner tonight. Although the girl I was supposed to go to dinner with tonight, she was like, it's 8:00 work. And I'm like, and I just had to say it. I was like, no, usually 8:00 is a great time for dinner. Right now, my body is like failing around 8:30. Like I cannot keep moving. So I could do a 6 o'clock dinner, or I could try to reschedule for a different time. And then tomorrow, hopefully, if I've eaten a little bit, I'm gonna try and go and have a drink with a girlfriend, even if it's just like a salsa or whatever, and try to like put on makeup and try to like, you know, be whole. And then also, this is what I know about my depression too. Like sometimes, like it will just start to feel better. That doesn't mean I don't need to do the steps. Like a month ago, I thought that I had tricked myself into feeling better. Like tomorrow, I could wake up and feel a lot better. And that's what the silver lining needs to continue to be. But a couple days I could feel better, but I need to implement those things into my life so that I have a therapist, I have somebody to talk to in these moments and in general, so that I am not trying to find an infrastructure during the hardest times. So anyway, um, yeah, this is all like a lot, obviously, but just trying to be honest with you guys. Um, yeah, and that's where I'm at right now. Any other questions, comments, concerns? Looking at the chat, of course, Streamlabs, Super Chat, but looking at you guys just in the chat in general too, especially on these episodes about mental health. It's obviously not about anything but making sure you guys feel seen and whatnot. Brian Payne in the Streamlab says, if I made plans to send in another care package, would it be all right? Only the most broken people can become great leaders. Wakanda forever. You're so sweet. You guys, I know everybody's struggling right now. Everybody, thank you for the thoughts, but just don't worry about it. But I appreciate it. Anyway, okay. So Cena says mental health is such a thing. I know. Grammy was just like, you felt elated 4 days ago. Just can't you do that? And I'm like, I had to call her yesterday. I was just like, I know how much you love me. Um, and she was like, so many good things are happening in your life. And I was like, I know that's not what depression is. That's not how it works. Yeah. And also it can't be understated enough. And for you guys out there who do this, I go to bed alone every night. And I wake up alone every day. I'm alone 90% of the time. That's real. And the loneliness that I feel is very difficult and compounds on the depression. And I know a lot of you guys feel that too. People who don't know that, people who do not feel that, have no idea what that feels like. And sometimes it feels like freedom, but sometimes it doesn't. And when it doesn't, it like feels like an elephant on your chest. Okay. Looking at you guys, Jamal feels that. Jason feels that. Totally. Totally. Yeah, I'm sure a lot of you guys. That's part of what this community is for feeling less lonely and being surrounded by people and whatnot. I also wanted to talk about some news today, but I just don't fucking think I have it in me. The Adidas Kanye thing is driving me fucking nuts, but that's a different thing for a different time. Different thing for a different time. Anyway, all right, that's all for me today. I'm gonna go on with my bad self. And also, for people who are struggling with depression or things right now, I also always remind myself, like, if I feel like smiling, that's okay too. And sometimes I like sit and giggle to myself about how depressed I am. And I'm like, Rox, how'd we get here? And even just smiling, like fake it till you make it. There's something about smiling that does make your chest feel a little lighter, even for a second. Okay. So shout out to all of you guys, to Ryan, to Sam, to Cena, to Michelle, Stabworthy, Jamal, James, Spaceball, Melissa, Mark, Mohammed, Andrew, Luann, Haskell, Jason, Christian, Manny, Cena, Sam, John, Calvin, Andrew, Divine, Cello, Scotty, everybody in here, Robin, Luke, George. So much love to you guys. And Spellgo, Haskell, all you guys. I hope that you guys are all trying to take care of yourself as best as you can right now. And maybe this helped anybody feel a little less alone or gave you guys some tips on how to find somebody. I'll continue talking about this on the show, obviously. I'll probably be back on Sunday. And I'll keep you guys posted on all this. And please keep me posted on how you guys are doing too. Thank you so much to the people in the Streamlabs today too for that huge support and help. To Ryan, Sean, Jimmy, Bobby, Trackstars, Christian. Couldn't be here without you guys. Seriously, thank you. And thank you for all of that support. It all is going towards my mental health right now. So, all right. Much love. And, Sina, I love you. I hope you're okay, babe. Okay. I'll talk to you guys soon. Shout out to, I want to give shout out to everybody. Michael, Lauren, Jake, James. Okay, I hope I hit most of you guys. Sorry if I missed some of you. Big wave to all the people. Okay, so much love. And I will talk to you later.